So, one of the things about a movie after it comes out is sometimes people like to upload various clips in short fashion to, I guess, avoid copyright, but also give people a gist, an idea of what the film is like in case they haven't seen it yet and they don't plan to go to the theaters to see it because, they can't afford it or they just don't want to, chance getting germs again since people still kind of are weary about the whole COVID situation, which is pretty much dying down now, if not completely. And when it comes to The Bad Guys, which is DreamWorks' recent animated film, this has happened. And now with Multiverse of Madness, it's happened. But for some of us that have seen the movie, we kind of have an idea of what happened in the film. We kind of seen it. But I guess what these people like to do is, as I mentioned, upload the clips to give people an idea, a gist of what's, in store in the film in case they do want to see it or they just want to, have a taste of what's to come, for them when they watch it at home. But the other thing that these clips do that people upload is it shows us, some scenes in there, or certain scenes, I should say, are chosen to show us, kind of an idea of why certain characters are doing the things that they're doing, and kind of, like I say, give us an idea of what to expect. And there's a clip that's divided up into 10, 11 parts, if you will, here on the YT, the DM, basically online, that, has Doctor Strange and Wanda talking in a red colorified forest or something like that. It's like another dimension, I'm assuming. And we see the Darkhold there. And Strange basically acknowledges that he knows what it is and that he knows it's the Book of the Damned and that it corrupts whoever's around it and wonders what it did to Wanda. And this is when Wanda tries to justify why she's after America Chavez, basically saying that what she plans to do is sacrifice her for the greater good. But Strange counters that by saying, you can kiss that logic though out the window because that's the kind of thinking our enemies would use. But then Wanda counters that by asking him something interesting. She counters that by saying, is that the kind of thinking you had when you gave Thanos the time stone? And you can almost sense a little bit of anger in her voice, I guess you could say kind of venomous anger. Well, I wouldn't say venomous anger, but some kind of seething anger in her voice. And he tries to explain that he was at war and he was at war and he had to do what he had to do. And then Wanda, of course, with that iconic moment in one of the trailers says, you do this, you become the hero. I do something similar, I become the enemy, and that doesn't seem fair. So she's trying to justify that what she wants to do to America Chavez is just as justified and logical as what Strange did by giving Thanos the Time Stone. But what it also tells me is she blames, or I guess I wouldn't say mostly, but kind of 75% blames, or puts some of the blame, 75% of the blame, on Stephen Strange. She puts it on Doctor Strange because I guess if you can interpret that scene in any way possible, it's almost like she's telling him, if you wouldn't have given Thanos the Time Stone, maybe I wouldn't be doing this. Maybe we wouldn't be in this situation. And that's kind of interesting. And I don't know if anybody picked up on that. I'm sure somebody is or has asked or pointed that out to people like John Campia in the open spoiler discussion videos, which he did 2 parts of. The second part he uploaded today. So you have to wonder if perhaps, others have picked up on that scene of what Wanda said, because obviously we know here that she's corrupted by the Darkhold, and the Darkhold is basically corrupting her to the point that it's saying, let me control you, let me help you let me empower you, possess you, and you'll get what you want. But it's also messing up her mind. It's not making her realize that what Strange did, as he put it, was, you know, he was basically to save everybody because he saw a vision, if you will, of how it was going to end. He saw one vision how it was going to end, and he had to do what he had to do. And she's not taking that into consideration because what it sounds like is she's kind of, like I said, putting the blame, or at least part of the blame, 75% of it, on Stephen Strange for handing Thanos the Time Stone. Now I got to go back and rewatch the movie. I do, and maybe maybe this scene's on YouTube or something. We'll see. But I'm almost certain that Strange probably asked her what is that she wants. Why is she doing it? What is it that she wants, or what is it that she wants or wanted? And I'm sure maybe Wanda, if I remember correctly, again I got to rewatch this. I'm sure Wanda's saying all she wanted was for her and Vision to be left alone. Like she didn't want no part of this. She wanted to be left alone, and that's it. And again, I got to rewatch this. I'm sure Strange may have pointed out that wouldn't have been an option anyway. But we don't know. We don't know if that would have been an option because, they weren't given an option. They were basically put into a situation where obviously you could tell when you watch Infinity War, they wanted nothing to do with. But yeah, it almost sounds like when you look at that one scene where they're talking in that kind of like decaying forest, surrounded by all that red, that scarlet red, that she's putting the blame on him. She's putting some of the blame on him for giving Thanos the Time Stone. That basically, again, interpret this the way you want. It's almost like she's saying, if you wouldn't have done that, maybe I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Like she's trying to justify by saying, hey, if you wouldn't have given the Time Stone, I would be, with Vision right now, living happily, alone, away from everybody else, without having to deal with this. And that's kind of what I sense here. It's kind of what I sense here, that she's putting the blame on him, in a way. She's putting the blame on him for what happened. Not realizing that he had to do what he had to do because he saw that one vision that was going to save them all. But, But again, the storyline here is that, Wanda is too far gone. She is too far gone, if you will, to basically accept that logic. And she's accepting the logic of, hey, if I do this, I sacrifice this being to get what I want, things will be right again. And this is where it kind of gets interesting about Wanda. Because again, as I've said before, and others obviously kind of feel the same way too, she's not dead. She's not dead. She is not dead whatsoever. She's still alive. She has been built up to be too powerful to literally be killed off by a building. Like I said, I think it was an illusion. And what she's done is she's gone off once again, like she did at the end of WandaVision, to kind of reconcile herself, to kind of get her mind straight and maybe figure out, okay, how can I get what I want, but not do it in a way that I'm going to, become something I don't like. So we'll see what happens. And maybe then, and again, who knows when we'll see her again, see Wanda again. Could be at the end of Black Panther. It could be at the end of Thor, post-credit scene. It could be at the end of Ant-Man and Wasp 3. We don't know. Quantumania. We don't know. But it's going to be interesting to see where she ends up next. But I will say this. I will say this. When you look at that scene, like I said, once again, when you look at that scene, you could tell that even though she's far gone on and everything, that even if she wasn't far gone, she still blames Stephen Strange for causing what happened to Vision to happen. Like, even if she wasn't totally out of it, like the Darkhold wasn't totally corrupting her, you can kind of sense that part of her still blames Strange, or kind of holds Strange responsible for what happened, accountable for what happened. Even though he had to do what he had to do to save, help save everybody in the future. But we'll see what others interpret by that, if anybody else has brought that scene up. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys. How do you feel about Wanda, technically in this one scene, blaming Strange, or at least putting some of the blame, 75% as I look at it, on Strange's feet, holding him kind of accountable for what happened? Let me know down below in the comments, as well as in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video. Super chats and super stickers are open in the live chat, as well as the super thanks button is enabled here on the video to help donate that way. But again, guys, let me know what your thoughts are. How do you feel about, just by interpreting that one scene, how do you feel about Wanda kind of putting the blame on Strange? Let me know down below and in the live chat. Check me out on my Teespring store. And until next time, guys, I'm out.